Hey guys, and welcome to Briefings for the Descent. I'm your host, Ken Oswald, and this is my good friend, Jonathan Barrick, who will be helping us talk about games today, RPGs.
Yes, we will.
And that's what Briefings for the Descent is all about, is people who love RPGs and want to talk about that, nifty new products that will help you facilitate your games, what kind of play styles you might enjoy, and other good stuff like that. So, J-Bar, it's been a little while since you and I got together and did this.
It's definitely been a hot minute. Definitely been a hot minute.
Yeah. What's been going on in your gaming life?
Ooh, my gaming life? Well, I have been continuing a RPG that I've been playing with, or I've been facilitating with some buddies. Other than that, I've joined another D&D game.
Another D&D game.
You really can't escape this kind of stuff.
I can't complain too much because I run two myself.
Yeah. But I've just been playing a lot.
Awesome. Well, to that end, let's talk about what I like to call our magic items, where we display some things for you that might help with your games. And today we've got Hammer Dog's mini GM screen, and they are humbly tagged the world's greatest screen.
For the world's greatest role-playing game.
Yes, for the world's greatest role-playing game. Or really any role-playing game. I mean, if you use a Game Master screen, these are pretty nifty. This is a customizable screen, and it's printed vinyl with pockets. So this mini screen is 6 inches tall. It has 4-inch wide panels on both inside and outside. So what that means to you guys is you can take index cards, slide them into your screen, and customize it to whatever rules you want facing you or facing your players. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely would like it. I definitely like it a lot for the homebrew aspect of, here's this cool monster I made, these cool abilities, or this cool encounter that I have coming up. I really like it for that aspect.
But wait, there's more. Let's say you're not into that. You don't like homebrew. You run Pathfinder Adventures or something like that. Maybe some society stuff. You can go to Hammer Dog's website and you can download assets to specific RPGs for your screen.
So for that size.
So for this size, yes, and they don't just make this size. Just happens to be the one that I purchased recently. I wanted something a little smaller to fit into some smaller gaming spaces that I was doing. And let's face it, occasionally when you're running games, the taller, massive GM screens occlude your vision to the battle mat that you have at your table or something like that. This, you can look right over it. And you've still got that protection, if you're that guy from the players checking out, what you've got going on. But they make full-size customizables as well that, you can put 8.5 by 11s in.
Okay, so they make them. Really they make them that big.
Right. They make them that big. They also have downloadable assets for that as well. Also, these are vinyl. So, do you know what that means?
Vinyl. That means it can go into a record player, right?
Sure. But more importantly, what it really means is vis-a-vis markers, wet erase.
Absolutely.
So when you put your index cards in here and you want to track something, you can write on the inside or the outside important notes for the players to remember on the spot. You can track hit points and stuff for monsters you're throwing out. You can
wet erase, dry erase.
Wet erase.
Wet erase.
I'm pretty sure when you're dealing with vinyl, you really want to use something like vis-a-vis markers, or at least wet erase markers. Chessex makes a really good marker called Lumicolor. Those are very opaque, really designed with game mats in mind. So those kind of things go great with this. Vinyl frequently with dry erase will never come off. that's just a done deal.
So you can make it permanent and customize it yourself
at
forever.
the same time. You're right.
Yes,
that is truth. So yes, that's Hammer Dog. These guys have great stuff. Check them out online and put it to use. I have really enjoyed mine thus far. So now we're going to talk about this week's crit hit. For me, that is the thing that's very exciting this week to talk about, and it's all about, for me, Gary Kahn. I had the privilege.
I'm so jealous.
Had the privilege of going to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin this last week and spending 4 days at GaryCon, which I've been to a lot of conventions, J-Bar.
Mm-hmm.
By far and away, this is the best convention I've ever been to. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be that way for everyone because I'm an RPG guy. I'm an old school RPG guy. Go figure. And that's really what this convention's about. Now, that said, there was also Magic the Gathering there. In fact, one of Gary Gygax's children was a player in that, a facilitator, I believe.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of different games that go on. But, you know, mostly it's about role-playing games.
Celebration of
Right.
role-playing.
Especially D20 games and OSRs. Now, there's board games there as well. In fact, they had a board gaming library. That was amazing.
I'm sure it was
amazing.
fantastic.
Lots of old school tabletop warfare games.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, role-playing games directly evolved from war games, tabletop warfare games. So it was a great place to kind of see what people were playing during that time that eventually leads us to D&D. I got to participate in some of that, which we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, it's just a great event. You get a chance to do that, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. So what kind of things did you participate?
Oh man,
in?
so
just give us
the quick rundown. The
quick
highlights
rundown.
are: I walk up day one, first thing in the morning, and I get into a game with none other than Skip Williams as my GM. And for those that don't know, he is a Wizards of the Coast writer
That's
and
excellent.
designer.
That's
so
excellent.
he really made a big contribution to D&D 3rd Edition 3.5. So yeah, he was my game master, and that was just a magical experience. I also got to play in a game with David Westlake. Now, for those that don't know, we were just talking about where did RPGs come from. They can be traced back to a diplomacy-like war game called Brownstein, and it is pronounced Brownstein. He has this whole spiel he does. He holds up a mug, a brown mug, and he says, "What is this? It's a Brownstein, not Braunstein." Don't say that. That's bad. Right. So, and Brownstein is really your first person role-playing type game.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to join in on that with the creator running it. Dave Arneson, for those that don't know, was one of his players. And this is how he comes up with his game Blackmoor, which ultimately becomes Dungeons & Dragons. So that was some of the fantastic stuff that I got to do. I also got to play in a Blackmoor game with Bob Meyer. Bob Meyer is not only was he a player of Dave Arneson's in the very early pre-D&D RPG days, but when Dave Arneson passed away, the group that he used to run selected Bob Meyer as his annual replacement to continue their game. So this is a game that still runs to this day, and it was just a fantastic experience. It's definitely a lot like rules light RPGs are now.
Mm-hmm.
People just wouldn't believe how different RPGs were when they were first being put together versus even original Dungeons & Dragons, what it ultimately becomes. There's not nearly the rule load that you have. It's pretty much, a one-and-done mechanic, one simple core roll.
Not as much bookkeeping.
Practically none. So my entire character sheet was on an index card.
That's
the whole
awesome.
thing. And it works kind of like tags as well in some of these rules like games where you write a single word or phrase and that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Sword fighting, that's what you do. My character did shadow sorcery.
Ooh.
So he could walk in and out of shadows, which led to me being the only person in the group to take damage that whole session.
Because of that.
Right, because you can't step out of a shadow in a second-story castle and be outside and that go well. It's not good. Anyway, so yes, that was my fun.
That's excellent. That's awesome.
For this weekend.
I'm still jealous.
Yes, well.
There's always next year.
There's always next year. So that's pretty much well it for us today, guys. We are looking for sponsors. If you like what we do, please drop us a line, a message, and we'll get back with you. if you guys have comments and suggestions, things you'd like us to talk about, please comment on our Facebook group, Briefings for the Descent, and let us know what you would like. That's it for us. We'll see you next time.